Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing okay, no matter where you are, no matter what time it is. I hope you are all doing well. I have been kind of doing deep dives into a little bit more research in another direction, other directions. Many of you may know, or maybe you don't know, you know that I'm an English major and I was a teacher, but many of you don't know a lot about philosophy, and that was actually my first love. And the reason I got up and went to school every semester. When I finally sat down with the advisor to look at my transcript and see what I needed to graduate, I actually had more philosophy courses than anything else. And they said that I already had a minor in philosophy. Well, I said, well, that's not going to do. Because, I mean, what are you going to do with a philosophy major? Just in case, right? And thank God I did think of it that way, because the English was more useful for the short term of my life, for jobs. But I asked what I had the second most amount in. They said English, so I stepped up in my English courses to finish as an English major, and I ended up one class short of a philosophy major. Also, I have a philosophy minor. But if I went and took one class, I could have a major in that as well. So, why did I love philosophy so much? Is because I got to delve into different belief systems and ideas and theories and political theories on how things should run, religious theories, different religions across the world, and how those beliefs and thought processes were. I also got to delve into logic and ethics, which I think is critical, especially now, on thinking. But the religion part plays a big part in it too, because the spiritual aspect. It's the only place in college where you can somewhat delve into the spiritual and the factual and the tangible and the intangible all at once. Logic is very difficult to learn. As a matter of fact, it's considered a mathematics course as well, because it's words that are analyzed in a mathematical format. And myself and one other person in the class got an A, because and I had a professor in philosophy who spoke 5 languages and taught me a couple of classes, who asked me if I was in a logic class, and he said he never understood it, and that I was one of those weird people. But that's just a little bit of background on me, so that you understand a little bit more about the things that I consider and think about, the theories It's a part of who I am. I cannot stop researching and learning. It doesn't mean that I do not, that I just believe one thing is true versus another. I consider. I pick things up. I look at them. I research them. And then sometimes I set them aside. And sometimes they'll resurface later. I'll get into a new research and realize that somehow it's related to something in the past that I already know. It's like being a detective and trying to put all the pieces together. And the main question I've had, as we all probably have had most of our lives, is why am I here and what is my purpose? But most people don't really focus on that. They're so busy surviving that there's no time for that kind of consideration, except maybe one day a week for most, if at all. Nobody really sits around anymore and has rational discussions based on morals and ethics on the best way to handle things for the community. Most things are based on money and budgets. So it's very easy to see how we got here to where we are today. We have become more and more reliant on the government and less reliant on ourselves and whatever that TV or radio may say to us, or our cell phones now. There's a lot of good information out there, but there's also a lot of garbage. And it's very hard to weed through and try and figure out the truth from the lies, because sometimes they're combined all into one sentence, the truth and the lie. There are a lot of deceptive people out there who do not care about other people. They only care about themselves. And that's a really hard thing to face and to realize, because good people want to believe that everybody else is good as well. And unfortunately, that isn't always the case at all. I think that's more evident now than ever before. Many of us have different scriptures that we follow, different books that we follow. And there are those in different religions that would hurt somebody else if they said anything against their scriptures or religions. It's been a contention of war for many centuries, the wars that have been fought. And if any of you have any idea whatsoever deep down in your soul, you would know that that would not be the intention of our Creator, is for there to be war. Unfortunately, I've heard that there are books in addition to what's in the Bible that we're never really exposed to. And I haven't just heard, I've read about them. I've read them, many of them. And I understand that there are different authors for different books. But if you look at what we're left with, the 66 books in the Bible, there's no real rhyme or reason. They seem to be out of order, except for Genesis and Revelation being the beginning and the end. But that always confused me and bothered me. It seems that there were gaps, things missing. And why were those missing? And who is the Council of Nicaea that chose? And who is King James who chose what it is that we see or do not see? This does not negate Jesus. This does not negate God. I want to make that very clear. My life experiences tell me, and I know, that He exists. There's no doubt. But what man has done around Him, using Him, manipulating Him, His story, His teachings, I think a lot of it has been a manipulation of us, especially their different interpretations. Shouldn't there only be one interpretation? It is what it is. Why do we have so many different factions under Christianity? Why do you have so many different factions under Islam? Why do you have so many different factions under the Jewish faith? There's been confusion. And as a friend of mine has reminded me, God is not of confusion. That is the one who has ruled this earth. Confusion comes from the bad side. There's been theories on Tartaria, mud floods, seeming to be civilizations that were prior to us. Doorways that were huge. Things that just don't logically make any sense. We've got buildings that were built that are magnificent, yet our buildings today are made so cheaply. Oh, well, we just don't have the time. We don't have the money. We don't have the skills anymore. We don't. I mean, why would we go backwards? Why do we have buildings that last, structures that last thousands of years, but our houses are decrepit in less than 150? You gotta constantly work on these things to keep them together. Everything needs maintenance, but these houses we live in today, they're not going to be standing in 1,000 years. I mean, they're not going to be standing in 100, 200 years. It's just not logical. It doesn't make any sense. There's so many mysteries, and the explanations are nonsensical. I don't think the carbon dating is correct. I don't think our timelines are correct. I don't think our calendar is being followed the way it should. I think it's incorrect. And I think all of that has been done to cause confusion, to keep us out of alignment. to keep us stupid. I think a lot of things are coming to the surface now. We're at the end of another cycle. But this time, are we going to stop them before they wipe us out and start all over again? Maybe our purpose is to stop it. I don't think this earth was meant to be this way. We weren't meant to be living in fear all the time. This has been done before. We weren't meant to live like this in fear. I mean, everything isn't supposed to be hunky-dory. Life is not perfect, but this is getting ridiculous. Evil. It's like it's underlying and we're living on the surface of it. And we got to get rid of it. We can't continue living like we're living. There's more to us than just a 9-to-5 job. There's more to us than just paying taxes and buying cars and paying for insurance and electricity and water and gas and garbage. And life is more than just being able to go fishing every now and then. Life is more than just seeing your children in the afternoons when they get off school, or after 5 or 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, fighting the traffic to get home. Scarf down a meal, sit in front of the TV for an hour or two, and go to sleep. It's not what this was meant to be. And we've been corralled into this decade after decade after decade. And it needs to stop. This whole system is so messed up, and we're so programmed that we can't even consider a different way of living. We've been told what's fun. We've been told what to aspire to buy. We've been told what successful means. It's all been centered around money and materialism. None of it has been centered around your soul and who we are. I'm not pretending to have all the answers. I'm just asking for consideration of my ideas. Just consider it. There's one way, and one way only, is to live right, to push for change, to say the truth in a sea full of lies when you know it. And don't just go along to get along when you know it's wrong. I think a lot's going to come to the surface. I'm still leery of any man or woman But there's got to be more than just me or you that think the same way, differently, who know that there's evil, who know that there's good. And this is not a game. Things need to be changed on this planet. Something really bad happened a long time ago. And we can't keep doing this over and over and over again. And I think that's what's been happening. Who writes our history? People we trust? The winners. Who are the winners? They're not good. I promise you that. Good men and women have been used, though, for their purposes. I just feel that there's going to be a shift. And I could very well be wrong. But I pray I'm not, for our children and their future. Because we can't continue going in this direction. I don't need to name all the things that you have been witnessing for the last just 3 years alone. Let alone before that. We are being lied to. And we've been lied to a long time about a lot more than what we can even imagine. Accepting it, if we're ever told the truth, is going to be very hard. But with acceptance and facing the truth, maybe there could be some actual change. Because it needs to happen. It needs to happen. I think every time a civilization starts to begin to wake up or gets too free or goes in the wrong direction, they just start it all over again. With children who don't even know any better that they could mold and tell the lies to. It would be so easy, wouldn't it? I mean, how much history do we even think we really know? The pyramids. Oh, we have no idea how those were built. Oh, yeah, we drug them on big old logs and wheeled them hundreds of miles with slaves across the desert, or however it looked at the time. Give me a break. Other structures across the world, they can't even build them today. And don't let them tell you otherwise. Not without some gigantic machinery that couldn't even be put in some of the locations where these places are located, like in Chile, in the mountains. And archaeologists are told what to tell everybody, and anything interesting, they scoop it up and throw it into the Smithsonian Museum, and you don't see it again, if you ever saw it to begin with. I'm just asking you to consider, open your mind. I think the control is in all areas. There's truth in many of those areas in order to keep it feasible that we believe them. But I think that's getting really shaky now. So pray. Ask Jesus to come into your heart and your life, and ask for forgiveness for what you've done. None of us are perfect. None of us. But we don't go away. We're energy. And we're here to learn. And we're here to change things. I think this planet has been in trouble for a very, very, very long time. And I hope we can straighten things out. I'm just one person. These are my ideas. Philosophers are no longer revered or looked to for any sort of information. They have experts on TV to tell you what to do. You know, we see how that's gotten us. And there's no longer any room for discussion. You'll just get banned. I don't think that was the intention at all in this world. We are astray. And the path is narrow, not wide. And we need to bring it back in and get back to what's important: people. Getting to know people, getting to know yourself, and finding joy in the simpler things again. Maybe that can happen. I'll keep praying for it, especially for the children. It's just a little talk and a chat this evening. Thank you for listening. Nothing's set in stone. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Bye for now.